There's a lot of controversy right now within Facebook ads. Is it better to focus on it with my agency, or is it better to stray away and focus on other services? Well, today I'm going to break down why Facebook ads are still a good method in 2022 and how you can optimize your performance for clients within these templates. Quick disclaimer, I don't have anything to sell you. I just make these videos for free, and I'm sharing my knowledge from what has worked for me so that you can use the same things within your agency. My name is Will Ross. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get into it. So diving into the computer here, so some key points I want to point out before I go into my actual strategies is you have to have some good creative. The copy in itself is not going to be very useful if you don't have a good picture or video to go along with it. You have to be targeting the right people. If the audience isn't right, obviously if you're targeting outdoor life and you're a sports brand, it's not really going to work out. And then 3 here, centered around the offer or deal. If there's no offer or deal, likely your ads are not going to perform that well. There's got to be something going on that entices the consumer or viewer to convert and buy your product or service. And then 4, it's realistically more unsustainable in 2022. So with one of the recent iOS updates, Facebook has taken off, or given the option at least, to ask consumers whether they'd like to have their data tracked or not. And obviously a lot of these consumers saying no gives Facebook less data to work on, which makes the ads less profitable. So there is still ways that you can make money in 2022 with Facebook ads, but it is far less sustainable. So just a fair warning before you get into it, it may be better to focus on some other services right now. But Facebook ads are still very profitable, and if you do the right things, they are still a huge asset to your agency and to businesses that you work with. So just wanted to point that out there before I go further. So first off here, the creative is having captivating pictures or videos that get the consumer's attention. If it's a video, you want the first 5 seconds of a video to be enticing, to be capturing the attention, something that's fast-paced, bright colors, has good scenery around it. And then with pictures, you want to have just something that really gets people going. So if there's a product that you're selling, you want the product to be the main centerpiece of the creative. You don't want somebody in there that's not really related to your creative. Obviously, maybe have some text in there, some good graphics. Overall, it's not that hard to spot a bad versus good Facebook ad. I think everybody knows what works and what doesn't. So just do best to your knowledge what would work, and just kind of follow these guidelines. So next thing here, the audience, so using a broad audience. This is something that I've learned from a YouTuber that I follow called Hans Advice, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but it's something that I've used and I think that you could use as well, that's helped me. So use a broad audience. And when I say this, a lot of people focus in on super niche audiences. So I worked with a paddleboarding company, and when you target specifically paddleboarding, it didn't show as many good results as if you just searched outdoor life or outdoor hobbies or things like that. So just some examples of here. If I'm working with a raincoat company, I'm gonna wanna target outdoor hobbies. So yes, it has that outdoor aspect, but it's not necessarily tied to raincoats. You're not just targeting raincoats. And if you're working with a football clothing company, you're gonna wanna target sports. So just a general target here, because Facebook uses the info that these ads gather and targets what works. So if they see that this audience or demographic is doing better than a different audience or demographic, it's going to target that. So set your broad age from 18 to 65 plus, and your subjects down to pretty vague categories. So the actual copy here, and again, I just want to preface that these are things that have worked for me. I'm not saying that it won't work for you, but I'm saying that these are just things that may work for other people. It may not work. This is just what works for me, so I wanted to share with you again kind of what works for me. So and also, again, I'm not selling you anything. I don't plan to sell you anything. I genuinely just want everybody to succeed in Facebook ads and do good. So this is the copy that I've used that has converted almost a 3 return on ad spend, or 3 times return on ad spend, which in the grand scheme of things is not crazy, but if you're working with a lower ticket product. So just to preface, this works with something that's a little bit lower ticket, maybe under $50, as opposed to something that's like, $500, $600. So going into it, centered around the offer. So you're gonna wanna use emojis around the offer in big letters. People's attention spans nowadays are just not what they used to be, so use something that's going to get them to look at your ad. And I put an example here, flash sale. So you have the 2 little lightning bolts to kind of emphasize the flash part of the flash sale. And then going into here, drive the urgency factor. So a flash sale, limited time offer, 20% off for a limited time, all those work. You're basically just wanting to push the consumer to convert while they can, and really making them feel like they're missing out if they don't purchase whatever you're offering. The urgency factor has worked really, really well with the ads that I've put out there, and it can do the same for you. So I use 3 different forms of copy that I've found that have worked. First is going to be curiosity, second is call out, and the third is 3 points. So these are kind of vague, but I want to dive into them a little bit more. So curiosity is you're grabbing the user's attention with a fact, question, or other form of copy. And some examples I'm going to use throughout this is going to be the raincoat company. So did you know that 71% of Earth's surface is water, or raincoat equals indestructible? So if I saw any of these, I would want to read further. The whole point of curiosity is you're getting that first initial attention so that the person, whoever's looking at the ad, can look at whatever you have left to say or whatever creative you have. The curiosity really drives that important first impression. So second here, call out. So you're calling out people by their interests, desires, and likes based off what you're advertising. So are you tired of being bogged down by rain? Are you the kind of person that lets rain ruin your day? Or why are you settling for a subpar raincoat? So if I saw any of these, maybe I do have a subpar raincoat, or I'm letting rain let me down or get my day down or something like that, something along those lines. This copy could obviously be better with whatever industry you're working in. But I would want to read further, so it's calling me out. As a consumer, you want to target whoever's looking at your ad. You're going to want to make it as personable as possible, so that they want to read further, they want to convert. So saying something like, are you settling for a subpar raincoat? Personally, for me, I don't have a good raincoat. So if I saw something like this, I would definitely want to read further. And if there's a flash sale, I would even want to read further and convert further, because I don't have a good raincoat. Paired with a flash sale, paired with this kind of question that's like, yeah, I am settling with a subpar raincoat. So I would want to read further. And then last here, 3 points, establishing 3 points as to why they need your product or service. So why buy our raincoats? Here's a couple of reasons. Indestructible material, soft cotton interior, 20% off for a limited time. This would also make me want to go to the website or at least click the link. So the 3-point factor is really a good method, because I forget where I heard this from, but it's called the rule of 3. So 3 of anything makes a person more likely to read or be interested, or it intrigues a person more as if it were, a 2 or a 4 or 5. I don't know why, that's just a psychology point. But the 3-point factor is something that I use and I've found that converts really, really well. So obviously these are tailored to whatever industry you're working in. So if you're selling a really good raincoat, the indestructible material, soft cotton interior, and 20% off for a limited time would grab my attention, because like I said, I don't have a good raincoat. If I saw these 3 points, these are 3 points why I should convert. So that's kind of the whole thing you're driving. You're telling people why they need this raincoat. So after you kind of get these good copies down and you're really good at making these advertisements and just kind of centering it around your client, you're going to want to make sure that you have good creative. So I have some examples down here of what's not good and what's good. So as I mentioned earlier, like, you don't want a person in the ad, right? You don't want, well, maybe you do, but you also want the product in there. So this first example here with an X, dive into lavender fields with our bath bombs. There's no bath bombs on the creative. So as someone that would be scrolling through Facebook advertisements or Facebook, I wouldn't click on this, because I'm like, okay, they don't show any bath bombs. That's kind of weird. The one on the right is solely focused on bath bombs. That's the only thing that's in the creative. There's some good plants behind it, stuff to kind of accent what the brand is about. That's what you want to go for. So that's good creative on their part. And then I have a good and bad example of some copy down here. So some bad copy. A rare corner suite in beautiful Liberty Village. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you see that all the copy is in one big paragraph. Then there's a sentence at the bottom that says click through to find out more. Whereas this one on the right is very visually intriguing. I haven't read anything yet, but I can see that there's colors on the screen, so I'm therefore going to want to read further. The whole preface or point of any advertisement is to get people to read. And if you have something that's like on the left, you're not going to get people to convert. You're not even going to get people to read. Where if you have something that's on the right and you use the points that I've used and the attention here, the flash sale lightning bolt signs, people are going to want to read further. Whether they convert or not, the click-through rate is going to be pretty good. So some good copy on their part as well. And then that kind of wraps it up. Really, it's not as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. Facebook ads are just a game. If you can figure out the game, you can figure out how to convert, then you can drive those services to your clients. It's all about experience. All you need to do is land one client, work for them, try to drive the best experience possible. If not, then you have experience to go into the next client. I've mentioned this with many different videos, but for Facebook advertising specifically, you're going to want to offer your services for free at first. Nobody is going to let you spend their money on advertising if you don't have any experience. So say, hey, I'm running this agency, we're focused on Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising marketing, and I really want to do this for you, so let me do it for 2 weeks for free. If it goes great, then I would love to talk about a different contract or a further contract. If it doesn't, you can drop me like a bad habit and it's done. It gives the client more assurance that they want to hire you. There's less risk on their side. So that's kind of my opinion, and it's only 2 weeks. You get experience with it, and if you use these points, I'm very, very confident that you can start converting in these ads. So I just wanted to share something with you real quick. I know that there's a lot of people in my comment section that have been asking about Facebook advertising, so I wanted to throw that out there. But that is effectively the end of the video. If you did stick around, thank you so much. Comment hot dogs if you stayed around this much. I really like to know the amount of people that kind of have got to this point. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.